first off, we have a ton of experience this year, which is a complete 180 turn from last year. We did bring in a couple of pieces, transfer guys that have had a ton of experience at their previous schools. We've played a lot of golf, not as much as we'd like to, just based on weather and access facilities the last couple months. We've played a lot of golf. The guys are in a good spot right now. It's exciting for me to get everybody back, to see the summers that we had, the improvements guys have made, and then also the new pieces that we've added for this year.
Coach, you have your first official team event coming up this weekend, but you did have an individual event a couple of weeks ago at the DBU Invitational. Took everybody on the team. Everyone got some in-tournament experience rounds. Kind of recap that a little bit. Although it was shortened to just one round, everyone still kind of got out there and got some tournament golf under their belt.
Yeah, it's great. I wish we'd have done this in the past. I think this is a great event, not just for us, but for everybody that was involved in the event. I think it gives the student athletes an opportunity to kind of get their feet wet again as we get back into school. Like you said, it's an individual event, but it kind of helps the guys kind of get back into kind of team mode where we're able to learn how to travel again and learn kind of how to have that team camaraderie in the van. Hotel experience is always fun to deal with. And anytime you tee it up in a competitive round, you're going to learn things, and that's kind of our motto this year, is just keep learning. Just do your thing and keep learning.
Coach, last year your team was playing as good of golf as anybody in the Lone Star Conference at the end of the year, and we can kind of go back to that because it's going to be the same guys coming out again this year with a couple additions. But what is it going to take, aside from just the experience, what is going to be the difference in this year's team to get off to a little better start here in this fall semester?
Well, we've talked about this a lot already from day one. We just need consistency. I mean, it's, going from a good round to a bad round, back and forth. That kind of hurt us last year a lot, especially of two of our bigger events last year. This year, we've talked a lot about consistency. How can we get better in things that we need to do on a daily basis in terms of preparation, in terms of practice, in terms of what your mindset is going into not just a tournament, but practice on a daily basis, qualifying rounds. How can we become more consistent? If we can figure out how to become more consistent, we should have a pretty fun year.
Coach, that year gets started officially with the team events on Monday and Tuesday at the Farmers Insurance Samuel Prohl Invitational in Pueblo, Colorado at Walking Stick Golf Course, starting out with another huge regional event that I'm sure it's going to be a full field and a lot of in-region opponents. What's the mindset going into that golf course, playing at elevation? You got some experience there last year playing in Pueblo, but just kind of getting off to a good start. What's going to be the mindset for the team heading into this weekend?
I think the mindset, number one, is not to get ahead of ourselves. I mean, we don't leave till Saturday, so we've got 4 or 5 more days before we actually leave. We've got some things we've got to work on this week in practice. A couple of guys that I talked to yesterday that they know what they need to do this week to get ready. We're excited. I mean, first event of the year, you're always excited to get on the road and go play. And to use a football or basketball term, we're kind of tired of beating up on ourselves, and we're ready to go and see what we can do against other teams. Golf, as you guys know, you're competing against other teams, but you can't think that way. You've got to think about, how can I beat the golf course today? And if we can keep that mindset and not allow external factors to affect what we're doing on a whole swing-to-swing basis, then we're going to be fine this weekend.
Coach, you've got a lot of returning production, but then you also have a few newcomers as well that are really, they've got talented resumes as well. We got Luke Emerson, who was a high school homeschool national champion, Seth Campbell, who was a part of the #1 junior college team in the country last year, and then you have Carson Witten, who was at Huntington College and he's a D3 All-American last year. What do you need to see from those 3 newcomers as well as the returners? How do you see that gelling? What do you need to see going into this first tournament this weekend?
I think in terms of the gelling part, I think our team chemistry is great. And any coach in any sport will tell you, when you bring in new players, that's probably the first thing that you maybe worry about, is how the team chemistry works. The new guys have come in and done great, starting to blend in very well. Seth and Carson are actually our 1 and 2 for this weekend, based on qualifying scores. Luke, like you said, is the incoming freshman. He's pretty green, which is okay because he's a freshman and every freshman's green. But his raw ability and his talent is through the roof, and he's going to help us as well as everybody on the roster this year at some point. Everybody's going to help us out, and we're excited to get out there and play competitive golf. Qualifying's been very intense, and that's the way I want it. We need to learn how to do things now instead of learning in tournaments, so we can take what we learn here and apply that to tournaments once we start traveling.
Well, Coach, you get on the road this weekend. Best of luck to you, to your team. Excited to get the season going, and good luck.
Thanks, guys. Go Pats.